Emmitt Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
And she loses the football. Scooped up by Burns. Brian Burns to the house.
Welcome to the Stop Capping Sports Podcast.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Welcome back to the Stop Capping Sports Podcast. I am your host, Dean. We are here with Seth, James, and John.
What's going on?
How's it going, fellas?
Having a good day. How about y'all, fellas?
We finally killed the opener. Good job, everybody.
Yes.
We finally
First
didn't
take.
get out of rhythm. First take.
We're excited to be back. I mean, it's football this week.
I hit the names in order, and we didn't go out of order. Paul, we went right in there, and I love it. That means we're all locked in.
The trick is to wait for Seth's pause.
Yep.
The trick is Seth is saying, I know somebody's about to talk over me because they always do. So I'm not going to do anything until I know that no one's going to talk over me. And then they still talk over him. We didn't do that today. So this was great. Cheers to the camera. Get your beers ready. My stuff's already there. You got my Voodoo Ranger Liquid Paradise IPA. I guess I'm the only one drinking. Got it. Sounds good.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten one.
I'll be an alcoholic tonight. It's okay. All right, boys. It is game week.
Yes.
It is game week. Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus who? Friday?
Chargers.
I know I'm going backwards. And then we have Cowboys versus the Eagles Thursday night to open up the season. Going to be a big game. They're like both of the best teams in the NFC South. Well, not anymore, actually, because they just traded Michael Parsons. Now it's going to be Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders, whatever. Cowboys going to get work. Eagles, we're going to go ahead and do our predictions at the end of the episode. And we're going to get there.
I know who your pick is.
Yeah, sounds like we all
You
do.
said it. I don't know if anybody's going to go against that pick, though.
I agree.
Yeah, like who's going to go against the
It
Eagles?
would have been a little. That's the thing. It would have been a little closer to Micah, but then you probably would have leaned the Eagles either way. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
So sorry for the spoiler. We're all kind of on the same page. Everybody listening here understands who's going to win that game. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
How about
It's all
them
good.
Cowboys
Or who should win that game?
How about them? Get your ass out of here.
fumbling the bag, bro?
Yeah, that was a crazy.
Serious fumble.
So, I mean, hey, while we're on the subject, that's some big NFL news, right? That's what this segment's about here. Segment one, we got what Panther injury news is there. We have Ike Nkongwu is been dealing with a nagging injury. He's day-to-day right now. He had, I think a surgery. Am I tripping?
Appendectomy.
Yep. And so he's been day-to-day.
Yep, one of those.
that medical term. Got it. Never going to get those. Injury updates. Who else for the Carolina Panthers?
Jalen Coker.
Coker, IR,
Yep.
right?
IR.
Quad injury. He had a leg cast or something on his leg yesterday.
Yeah.
So he walked out with that.
Significant quad
compression. Mm-hmm. He had a compression pad.
Compression sleeves.
Yeah. So I think that's really about it for the major injuries.
Yes.
Obviously, NFL trade news, a big one. Michael Parsons. What is it? Gary and 2 firsts from the Packers.
Yes.
Literally a Pro Bowl nose tackle.
Kenny Clark.
Yes.
Kenny Clark. That's it.
Yes.
Gary is still there. Kenny Clark and 2
Two
firsts.
firsts.
Huge trade package. So Dallas obviously downgraded at pass rusher, but they got the 2 firsts on top of it. I mean,
They could have got more if they'd done this 6 months ago.
who, Dallas?
Maybe. I mean, it's still a
100%.
good.
You do this in February or March, and they would have gotten exponentially more because more teams would have been involved in the trade discussions because they would have had the ability to take on that salary before free agency. So
Yeah, but
they
you're
made a
talking
major mishap.
Yeah, but you're talking about trading 2 first rounds, where you don't see that happen in the league often.
And then they also would have gotten one of those first rounds this year versus having to wait for next year in 2027.
Well, John,
That's
I don't
awesome.
think their intentions was to trade Michael Parsons in the beginning.
I agree.
So I don't think they were thinking about trading Michael Parsons during the draft.
Doesn't sound like they were trying to give him his money either. So
Oh, they tried that. It
Jerry
just
Jones
wasn't
at his
there.
finest. So,
Yeah, I mean, again, they offered him, was it 6 years, $205 million? He wanted 4 years.
That was a lot of years.
Yeah.
It was a lot of years.
So I mean, they tried to sign him, but it's just they wanted the longevity in the contract, and he didn't want that, right? So that's kind of what we were talking about before we started. But he wanted to have the short term because then I think the article said that his agent was against the long contract because it's going to limit his opportunity to get that third contract as a big number, a big salary. So makes sense from like a business perspective, trying to balance out those years. You don't lock in like Patrick Mahomes right now. He's on his 10-year deal, and he's never going to get another contract unless he restructures, right? So I get it. Hopefully Brent Tillis can manipulate Bryce into a 10-year contract after this, so we don't have to go through the whole ordeal.
Slow down on that one.
I know you don't want him here for 10 years.
Got to see it first, baby.
It's going to happen. Don't worry. He'll be here for 10 years. Go.
I mean, I hope so. The investment we made, I won't
get ready to hear it. Bryce Young. Touchdown.
Well, I'm hoping in the 10 years there's a ring somewhere involved. So,
you said what?
So hoping that 10 years there's a ring somewhere in there.
Yeah,
it's gonna be 7 rings. Chill out.
Damn. Okay. Dynasty.
Not 1, not 2, not 3. Not 4. Hit him with that LeBron, Day Wade, and Chris Bosh.
Bryce James.
Hopefully with a lot more success.
Bryce James.
No, that's a tough one. That's a tough feat. Super Bowls right now, where we're at. Whew. We got to have a Detroit resurgence.
It's a dream.
Right. So, yeah, but about that, we're going to move forward. That was pretty much the only big trade news. I haven't heard of any other major trade.
We got the Adam Thielen trade.
Well, Thielen was traded 2 days after we recorded, so
that's
how we went in on how we
how y'all didn't like the idea of moving him. No, but I mean, I'm okay with what we got in return for him. I wish it would have been a little bit more with less pick swaps because realistically, if you look at it, it's just 2 pick swaps. But I mean,
compensatory though.
Yeah.
It's compensatory.
Thielen with a fourth would have been like, all right.
Yeah, I'd have been perfectly fine with that. But
Thielen,
we swapped picks on both years. So if you look at it, it was pick swaps with improvements potential on both of our picks. We did go from round 5 to round 4, so that's what got the deal done. I will say, especially now that, a lot of the communications have come out, by all means, he wanted out. He wanted to go back to Minnesota. That picture has been painted very, very clearly when it comes to social media and everything that went into this overall occurring with the Panthers and with Adam Thielen. So that was a little bit disheartening. I think it was more because he understood what his role was going to be this year on this team. And it's not something that he was really wanting to do. So he knew there was a need in Minnesota. Obviously, he still has his house there. That's where he grew up. He's lived there his whole life. So it made sense for him to want to do that. And then he even restructured his contract and lost money after the trade. So it was a very interesting situation. I think Carolina got the best that they could in the situation. So overall, I'm not upset with the entire trade at all.
I don't like it. I didn't like the whole thing to begin with. I didn't think it made sense. But then when it comes out that Thielen's the one requesting the trade, I feel like we just been played, was part of it. So at that point, I lose all interest and all concern about the player. So I'm glad he's gone if he wanted out. Don't want him here. We'll roll with what we got. I already said Coker was the number 2, which we could talk about later, but time to move on. I just don't – it leads you into the whole thing with Renfro, though. They cut Renfro just expecting him to hang out there, which I guess he did.
Yeah.
But
it worked out.
Got lucky.
They keep playing these games. They're going to get burnt, man.
It's back-to-back years you've done it.
Yeah.
They did it with Coker last year.
Yeah.
I don't think it – to me, it doesn't show good faith, which who knows what the conversations are behind the scenes. We don't know. But to me, it's not a good way to operate. I don't –
Definitely playing with fire.
Yeah.
I think it was a move that should have been – if it was going to happen, it should have been made earlier in the offseason. You're allowed to go through OTAs and off-season practices as running Thielen as your 2. You know what I mean? Your packages you have him in. You know what I mean? It's
The
this
installs
point
that they just went through.
Yeah.
everything, and now you're a week and a half before the season, you trade them. You know, and I think that's what it really was. But I told Dean earlier today, I was like, I look at it as it's time. Our future is here on this team, wide receiver wise, all the young guys. It's like now it's time y'all step up. This is now we get to see what we have, going forward. If it's more drop passes, I told Dean, hey, we've been doing it for 2 seasons, so let's see what we have in the young guys. And I think that's the direction they've decided to go. They trust what they have in that locker room, and we're going to go young with it. So, I mean, I'm not too upset about it. I think after we had our episode last week where we talked about, how important he was to be in the locker room with the young guys, you still bring back Renfro. He's a seasoned pro. He's found success in this league. So he is a guy that can be a leader in that locker room for the younger guys. So, it is what it is now. I just wish it was, done a little bit earlier. This was a conversation that was, could have been had earlier in the offseason.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the ideal situation is it happens in all season without all the preseason stuff. But I feel like the issue kind of came up when the suspension became a thing for Addison. I was on the phone with John or James. I can't remember who I was on the phone with after this all happened. Maybe it was Seth. It was one of you 3. And I mentioned the fact that I feel that this whole thing came up because the Vikings had interest in Thielen again. And when you look at it, Thielen never wanted to leave Minnesota. We got sloppy seconds. Like they released him and nobody else offered him anything. And so then we offered him a contract, and of course he wants to keep playing, so he comes to Carolina, and I'm committed to Carolina, which he was. I mean, he put everything out on the line for us, right? Sure. However, as soon as the ex-girlfriend gives you a call back, you've been single for 2 years, your ex-girlfriend finally calls you back, you're like, oh, hey, there's a chance. And then next thing you know, he's over here like reminiscing back in the old day, and he's like, dang. That was nice. You know what I mean? That was a nice girlfriend. I kind of still live right next door. I might as well go back.
Yeah.
And so Dan hit him up and was like, let him know. I mean, per the press conference, he called Adam Thielen into the office and said, hey, just letting you know your ex-girlfriend called and wants to talk to you. And, of course, that hit that light bulb again. He went back to the past, and then that's when that seed was planted, and he wanted to go back because he knew they wanted him to come back. I think he was in that mentality of like he was wanting to retire in Minnesota. So as soon as the opportunity presented itself, he wanted back over there. And as soon as he realized that we overvalued him and put him in a position where he wasn't going to have the opportunity to go back because of the compensation we were requesting, he demanded a trade. He forced our hand. He forced us to get rid of him because he's thinking about his ex. He's like, I want to go back. Like, now let me go. Like, I don't want to be here anymore, because he never wanted to leave to begin with. Right. So as soon as that opportunity presented itself, as soon as he realized that we were keeping him out of his opportunity to go back, he forced our hand. So at the end of the day, thank you for your services, buddy. Good riddance. Because like at the end of the day, this is what you wanted. You I guess you feel you have a better opportunity in Minnesota. You probably do. We're still kind of on the up and up. It just it's shitty to hear all the good things he said about, these guys. I want to be here to the end. I want to be here through the building process. And then as soon as that person calls back, you want right back over there. So it's like, you've been saying all these lies for 2 years, and you believed it at the time. But again, you knew as soon as that phone call happened, you're ready to go back. So, and it did. So here we are. Here we are. 4th round pick for a 34, 35-year-old receiver. I'm taking it. Especially when he don't want to be here. So, he's got one more year. One more year, he's out. We got a 4th round pick for it. So Dan did his thing. Obviously, the 3rd round would have been ideal. Minnesota didn't pull the trigger. The inner workers in Minnesota called his agent, said, hey, tell him you want to trade. We'll get you for this 4th, 5th, blah, blah, blah. We'll make it happen. And then they made it happen. Good, more power to him, right? More power to him to go to be the number 3 as soon as Addison gets there, and then, tear his hamstring because he's forcing himself trying to play hard. So here we are. It is what it is. Adam Thielen's gone. Now it's the youth movement in Carolina. It's Jalen Coker when he gets back from IR in 6 weeks. We got Jimmy Horn. I do like that we got lucky to keep Hunter Renfrow, being that he was quote unquote unguardable in camp. I would love to be able to continue to grow in that chemistry. He's only 28, 29, so I'd rather have him than a 34, 35 Thielen.
The guy that wants to be here.
A guy that he doesn't want to be anywhere else.
He literally said that. He was not going to play anywhere else but Carolina.
Yeah, he had offers. He had a lot of phone calls, and I sent something earlier today to the group chat. His daughter ignored 10 phone calls from Dan Morgan and Dave Canales when they were trying to re-sign him after the Thielen deal because she was swiping up because she was watching her TV show, Bluey on the phone or something. I'm not watching this. She's just ignoring the phone call, and the coach is like, "Oh crap, we done screwed up. Call him again. Call him back." Yeah. So 10 phone calls. They were sweating in that front office. Maybe lessons learned. Maybe they don't play this game next year.
Yeah,
man, I thought we struck out, man. I thought we messed up. So luckily he wanted to be here. I'm glad that he wants to be here, genuinely wants to be here. This isn't just, nobody else gave me an offer, so I guess I'll go play in Carolina. He wanted to be here. He chose to be here. He did not want to go anywhere else. He waited for his opportunity to get his foot back in the door here. So I love that. I'm glad Hunter Renfrow wants to be a Panther. At the end of the day, we're in that position now where we just need people who have the passion for this team and want to be here because we're trying to grow this thing. And so that's just positives for what Hunter Renfrow could potentially do for this team. His veteran presence, he's an ex-Pro Bowler. I'm excited to see what he's going to do, how he's going to perform this year. So we got the speedy slot again, Jimmy Horn. We got the youth movement. Excel, hopefully Excel kind of takes advantage of this opportunity without having Thielen taking the looks from him. He's got to step up. He absolutely has to step up. So with that, we obviously have Ted McMillan, right? Ted McMillan is the wide receiver one here. So receiver room did change a little bit, but essentially we just kind of swapped out Thielen for Renfrow. Now, the subject I definitely wanted to bring up, something I keep reading on social media, and then people want to twist these words from guys like the Bryce supporters. They want to kind of say, if you're saying that the success of Bryce Young is dependent on a 35-year-old receiver, then your true concerns are, the quarterback. You need to assess how you really feel about your quarterback. There's going to be people listening to this right now. We're going to have the same thought, right? That just planted that seed. Now everyone's going to have that perspective. I'm coming from a Bryce perspective. The reason losing Thielen was a problem has nothing to do with the fact that we don't trust Bryce Young. It is the fact that Thielen has been the only consistent target for 2 years. You've drafted receiver after receiver after receiver, and the only guy that has shown consistency in that room is the guy we just traded. And you're walking into a season with all new faces. We've seen how our receiving core literally drops game-winning touchdown passes. We're literally watching how the guys that were consistently on the field in this room could not be available. XL Coker. They're always injured, and the only one that's reliable hands-wise is Coker. So the only faces we have that are familiar in this room are two guys that we don't really know what we got in it. So everybody else is brand new. So when you're talking about the continued progression of your quarterback, you're taking the one consistent piece, no matter what his age is. That's why we said there's no value you can put on him until he demanded to leave. There's no value you can put on him because he's a 35-year-old receiver. However, the continued growth of Bryce Young, you need to have that consistent veteran in the room because, again, everybody else has been inconsistent and unavailable. So now we're forced into having the youth movement. Do we disagree that we should have a youth movement? Absolutely not. we are in that position. We need the young guys to show up. We need the young guys to be able to catch that football. We need the young guys to build around to continue to make this team a relevant team for the future. And if you're building around a 35-year-old receiver, you're not doing that. And I get that perspective. But again, this isn't a doubt of the quarterback. This isn't doubting what Bryce can do. Bryce has put that ball on the money, and guys have dropped the game. They've dropped the game away every time. So at its core, it's not the concern of what the consistent quarterback play is going to look like. It's the concern of what the consistent receiver play is going to look like. And when you don't have the consistency across the board over the past 2 years, there's going to be a natural default concern when you take away the only consistent target that he's had over 2 years. So just to put that into perspective for people, this has nothing to do with doubts of Bryce Young. This has everything to do with the doubting of the ability and the processes of selecting these guys. We've done it with Terrace Marshall. We've done it now with Excel. When you're selecting these guys and consistently missed every single time. So at this point, he happened to be the best thing that we could throw to, even though he's as slow as dirt. He could catch the football. He was reliable. You don't need speed. You can be a 4.6, 4.7. As long as you can catch the damn football, you can make it in this league. And that's all he had. That's all he was. But he was something that was very valued in the room because he was consistently available and he caught the football. Again, he did what a receiver is supposed to do. Quarterback can't make a receiver catch the football. So I wanted to clear that one. These guys, we don't know. I'm hoping Jimmy Horn works out. I'm hoping Excel works out. I'm hoping Excel can actually learn how to catch again. I'm hoping that Ted McMillan is what we think he's going to be. But we don't know. So, of course, naturally, when you lose that main target, the one guy you knew on third down was going to catch that rock, there's obviously going to be a default concern associated with that. So
right. But I think the way you described it, I think when you say it like that, it's you have no concern with Bryce. I think from where that aspect was coming from, other fans, I think they looked at it as Thielen was almost like a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying this isn't a knock on Bryce.
It's kind of a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Not always.
Because he is the most consistent thing he had to throw to. He knew if he threw the ball to him, that there was an 80% chance, 85% chance Thielen was coming down with that ball.
Should that not be an expectation in the NFL?
Correct. It should. It should.
I'm just saying.
I think if you look at it from this point, if you look at what the coaching staff had decided when obviously they didn't want to trade Thielen. But when you look at it from if you take the stretch that Bryce had down last year, we've talked about multiple times where Bryce he overcame the drops, he overcame this and that from the bad play from the wide receiver position. He did that. I think it's say, all right, Bryce, this is what you have. Let's continue to make it work like you had down the stretch of last season. And I think that's what I think you were trying to speak for most fans, but you were speaking for yourself saying, I don't have a concern with Bryce from the play that Thielen's gone. I'm saying other fans, this is where this was coming from. Other fans feel like them pulling Thielen away from Bryce could be a bad thing for Bryce Young because he no longer has in their mind a crutch to throw to. Now you have no choice.
Security blanket.
Yeah, but you have no choice now but to throw to these younger receivers because somebody has to catch it. And I think and I don't think any of us are concerned with Bryce Young because we saw him do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think Ted's going to come in. He's what? What's that?
The perspective, though, the point that was being made is that the Bryce people, like myself, I'm a Bryce guy.
That's where you're wrong. That isn't where the context is coming from.
I'm hearing about that because it's talking about the people like, oh, if you think Bryce is, they're talking about the people who were in support of Bryce.
No, and I told you about the clip. The clip was the guy said,
not just a clip.
He said internally, if you tell yourself that the success, I'm not talking about Bryce Young's play. I'm talking about the success of the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. If you were determining that off of a 35-year-old wide receiver, then you're already in a bad spot on what your expectations are of the team and Bryce Young.
Agreed.
If you are that fan, not a Bryce guy, but just a fan, if you allow that to determine how good the Panthers are going to be because the Panthers traded away a 35-year-old wide receiver.
So
that's what the context was.
So my thought process on it is a little bit opposite of what Dean said. I think that this trade showed the coaching staff's faith in the progress that we've made with XL and with Coker and with our young receiving core, that they felt comfortable enough to let Thielen walk away and go back to the Vikings. And what we had on the field is enough to support Bryce Young in his progression as a young quarterback.
But that's
to
the thing.
me, that's what I get. I say the coaches believe in what we have, and they're going to put those players in positions to be successful when it comes to the X's and O's offensively on the football field, with Bryce Young being that quarterback. That's my thought process. Again, could it be very different? Yes. Do I think it has a negative impact?
They didn't trade him because they trusted the receiver room. They traded him because Adam Thielen demanded to be traded.
Yes, bro.
They did not want to trade him.
But they didn't have to. That's the point.
You didn't have to.
Toxic. Yes. Why leave a guy who doesn't want to be there in the locker room?
But you
it's
also
not that he
didn't
want to be there.
He absolutely didn't want to be there. He demanded to be traded as soon as he found out that the ex-girlfriend was interested again.
Okay, but you also didn't see them go make any more moves for another wide receiver after
they did. They added Hunter Renfrow.
But he was there the entire.
He has already been here. He's already been here the whole time.
No,
outside
but
of letting him
go. Then they traded Thielen. Then they re-signed Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, but there was
They
no.
didn't re-sign Renfrow. They did not re-sign Renfrow until they put Jalen Coker on IR.
Correct.
That
is
true.
correct.
That is when we.
So there was no.
It happened the same day.
Yeah, but there was still no initial.
It was the corresponding. It was the corresponding move.
Correct.
Right. We put him on IR and then brought Renfrow back to fill his roster.
Yeah, but this is the thing, and me and Dean talked about this earlier. They knew they had to have known that Coker was going to the IR during the Thielen trade.
No, they didn't, because the injury happened the day after.
It happened the day
it
of
happened
the
the practice after the trade.
Okay,
yes,
but he didn't go to IR. When the trade happened? Wednesday,
and he got hurt Thursday after.
No, he got hurt Friday because I told Dean.
It was Thursday and Friday.
Because I drafted
Thursday
him.
morning.
Yeah, I drafted him.
He wasn't hurt when the trade happened.
I drafted him in a fantasy league Friday night. He was not on IR yet. So, but neither here nor there. Going back to what we were saying, the message was not catered towards the Bryce supporters. It was catered towards Panther fans in general that believe that the success of the Carolina Panthers in 2025 was based off Adam Thielen. And he
Here's
said,
here's the only thing that I would say directly to that is I wasn't so much worried. My thing was not wanting to lose Thielen is why would we give him away when he's obviously our second best wide receiver.
I agree with that.
Over the past two. Well, he's been really the number one receiver up till this coming into this year. So why would we want to give that away, even though we've brought in a number one, what we hope is a number one receiver? Why wouldn't we want to pair those guys together for Bryce to actually give him some weapons, So why would we? And we already looking at our depth, and we've talked all offseason about our preseason about how good our wide receiver depth is. So we're all aware that what we have. The only thing that gets me with the Thielen deal is how it went down and him forcing the hand of everything.
Right.
But I would have been perfectly fine with him staying. I just thought we should have got more. I'm perfectly fine with him going. I thought we should have got more for him, and I feel like they ended up giving him away because Thielen basically took any leverage away.
Yeah, right.
That's my only thing about it. I don't have a problem at all with where we ended up.
No, me neither. That's the thing. Me neither. Yeah. When it happened, and I was like, all right. But like you said, I didn't want him to go because we had talked about it. Like, right. I not only from him being the second best, it's having a guy like that in the locker room, a leader that's been here for going into his third season. That was the thing.
And like y'all said, dependability. It's not that he could depend on Thielen.
Correct.
And that's all it come down to. He was a dependable target. Like we're missing guys. Bryce is throwing to guys that are dropping balls. Or guys that can't stay on the field, stay healthy to stay on the field to be there for Bryce. So Thielen missed some time last year too, but Thielen still, when he is on the field, Bryce knows that he can depend on him to make a catch when he needs it. These other guys, what have they shown? That's
Right.
that's
You're
the
right,
only
you're right.
that's the only
There's
thing that gives
nothing.
anyone pause.
That's what it comes down to. It's not about
right.
the fact
Okay,
that,
but listen,
if you're dependent on that, it's that
Okay.
there's nothing proven.
Okay, but
Obviously, Bryce is going to
okay,
do
in
what
the
he
same
does.
in the same aspect, you can look at it like this. You say nobody else has proven anything. If we still had Thielen right now, we're going into Sunday's game with only one guy that we feel has shown something.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
it's
what's the
better
difference?
than zero.
No, I guess
That
what
is a
I'm
big
saying
difference.
is,
Better than none.
does this change your outcome of the 2025 season for the Carolina Panthers that much that losing Thielen
I
is
never
going
said
to
it
change?
changed my mind.
No.
Okay, exactly, and that's what it is. That's what
a
it is.
simple. No.
No, but
It doesn't change my outlook on the season.
I mean, I said it before we started that there's nothing changed. We swapped Thielen for Renfro. That's essentially all.
Look, I'm dropping my win totals for them, but it ain't got nothing to do with the Thielen thing. It's just got to do with what I didn't see in preseason.
Yeah.
And that's understandable because we didn't see a whole lot.
And some injuries. Injuries early is scary. That is a scary
Yes.
situation. But again, that happened after the trade. So,
But it has
Well,
nothing to do with Bryce and the security. I feel like
correct. And it's the
there.
same. And that's where what the guy was saying at the time, that's where that context was going towards, not towards just guys that supported Bryce. He was talking about the fans in general. If you felt that way about Bryce, then your subconscious is already telling you something
that you had a
to
problem with
begin.
quarterback.
That
And
you
this
already
is
had an
going
issue
down.
with Bryce.
This is going down another hole that we probably need to talk about or should have talked about. But this is a year that Bryce has to prove it, and I want the
100%.
best. I want him to have the best tools to be
100%.
able to do that. So it does get a little bit into that because I want him to prove it, and I want him to have the best
to prove
possible.
it, but again, you throw a game-winning touchdown to Excel, he drops it against the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
You drive down and
But
you take the
okay.
Hold
I get
on.
that.
But I'm saying, I know everybody keeps saying they want him to prove it.
No, that was what I'm
We've
saying.
seen
That was
it.
2024.
I
No,
understand.
See,
I understand
but that's what I'm
17-game
saying.
season.
I want him to have the best possible weapons to be able
Yes,
to show
yes.
that.
And
That's what I
unfortunately, now you've taken his only dependable target, and that's all this is about.
But this
it has
is also
nothing
the
to
thing.
do with our doubt.
This is
of
also
him.
the thing. We have to see what Sunday looks like. We have to see
Agreed.
before we jump to any conclusion on
Am I
what this wide
excited?
receiver room is going to look like this season.
Yeah, especially
We have
now.
to see Sunday. We have
Well,
to see
what-
what.
Do
we
I
have-
trust the room? Absolutely. I think this is the best room he's had.
That's what I'm saying.
No
we
question.
don't 100% know the steps that because we've only seen limited, but like the steps that XL has actually made this year. What Tet is going to look like in that X position? Like, are these going to be the two guys that he can rely on? We're going to know that early on.
Correct.
And then you're going to know how this season's going to go for Bryce Young and the rest of the team.
What's the usage of the veteran? What's the usage we're going to have him in the slot? What's the usage of Jimmy Horn in the slot? Those are my
I'm going
questions.
to circle back to what I said originally when it comes to the entire situation with Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen understood what the plan was for Adam Thielen as a Panther, and that's not what he wanted. Yeah. I think that this was decided in OTAs. They were taking a lot of his snaps away, and they were going to give them to the younger guys. He was going to be that reliable vet that only played maybe third downs here and there, but he wasn't going to be an every down player for us. I'm pretty sure that was set in stone well before the preseason ever started, and that's what led the situation that came about with the trade with him going back to Minnesota, because he understood that his role in our offense was going to be significantly reduced because they wanted to get these younger guys on the field. And he felt that if he goes back to Minnesota, he can still have a significant enough role in the offense to be an impact player and to fill his desire of being needed on a football field. That's my opinion. I can't prove that, but my gut tells me that his offensive snaps were going to be reduced. His role in the offense was going to be reduced, and they were going to put Excel. They were going to put Coker ahead of him, and they were going to see what we really have with those two players. And if you look at a young team, that makes sense.
I will say I don't agree with that opinion based on the fact that they held him at a third-round grade. You don't hold a 35-year-old at a third-round grade to say you're a situational slot guy.
What did we trade him for, though? We traded him for 2 pick swaps.
But that's because after he demanded a trade, they didn't want to trade him because they had value and a plan for him in place. So that's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. But my perspective, I just look at what is there. They said, we do not want to move him for anything less than a third-round pick, which is absolutely unrealistic for a 34, 35-year-old receiver. You're never going to get a third-rounder. So that tells you that they have a value of him that is astronomically higher than a normal 34, 35-year-old receiver on any roster, which means they had a plan in place, not some situational piece. He was a vital piece of this offense. And I don't think anything to do with the preseason had anything to do with the decision to demand for a trade. He demanded for a trade because his ex-girlfriend called him. That's all it was. He never wanted to leave Minnesota. Not once. That's all this was, in my opinion.
Yes, and Minnesota cut him because they weren't going to pay him. That was the situation.
I don't think that they intentionally – I don't think they would have dealt Adam Thielen. I don't think they had plans to, because why would they have brought him back at a pay raise?
They literally gave him an increase.
Able to do that.
But
so
they did that before we took Excel. That's why.
No, they just done that this offseason.
You mean
yes,
Ted McMillan?
Yes, Ted. We did that prior to the draft.
No, that was
we wanted to make sure that he stayed.
I'm not going to check this. I'm not going to fact check.
I'm not. But regardless, like I said, my opinion is I think he knew his position in the offense was going to be reduced, especially as the year progressed.
I could see that.
I agree.
As the year progressed.
As the year progressed, I think.
I'm not saying he wasn't going to have a role week one, by all means, yes.
Yeah.
But as the season progressed, there was more likely than not a discussed plan in place to reduce his snap count, to reduce his impact on the offense, to get those young guys on the field.
I can see that.
Have to see what's going to happen with them to determine what we're going to do in the future at those positions.
From that aspect, I can see it, but I don't think they went into the season thinking that was what was going to happen.
I don't think that's what it was. They literally said, thank you for all of your stuff. They didn't have to go to him and say, we're going to give you a $7 million bonus because they
gave him $2 million more.
Well, he was making $7-8 million. Anyway, they gave him more money. They didn't have to give him more money. They said, thank you for everything you're doing. We value you. We value your presence. You're a very important piece to this offense. We're going to give you more money, and fuck you, Minnesota. We're not trading him unless you're giving me a third. And then he's like, actually, just kidding. I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. You're like, up. Okay, we'll take the trade that they sent us to first place. He just forced our hand. We'll move on. We won't continue rambling on that.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. He's done.
He's gone.
Like I said, we move on. We move on. I've moved on. I have no doubts, just for clarity, so we do move on from this subject entirely. I have no doubts about what Bryce is going to do with the receivers we have. I do think that this is the best receiving core we've had. We went over this in the podcast last episode. You look at his rookie year, there's literally 2 people on his rookie season that he was throwing the rock to that are rostered in the NFL. I need that to set in. And one of them was just traded. Okay? So he has one person on this roster that was an active player in the league. That's it in his rookie year. Last year, he had a guy that had butterfingers, and he had a guy who dealt with a hamstring for multiple weeks and was 34 years old. This year, you have a true X. What we assume is a true X. A guy that has stickies. This guy can catch everything thrown to him. I have said it, top 10 hands already in the league. He hasn't even done anything. He's got hands. He's going to catch that football. And that's something that every quarterback needs that. And, what you, James, I know to go back on your point, hey, he had a guy that 80% of the time would come down. That's an expectation in the NFL. We just have never 100%. Had that. So 100%. when you put that into perspective, the importance of having that guy that can actually catch a football is kind of a deal when everyone else can't. So at this point, I love the receiving room that we have. I'm glad that we let a guy who didn't want to be here leave, and I'm glad we upgraded. In my opinion, Renfro's an upgrade from Thielen.
Yeah,
I'm glad we upgraded. So good. We got Renfro. Hopefully his hamstring holds up. He had an August pull. So if we can keep Renfro healthy, keep him in that slot role, the dude was he's a quicker route runner. He's a little bit more explosive, and he's got just as reliable hands. You wanted Thielen? Cool. Renfro's a better version of him. So I'm happy.
And this is like I said, we're going to end it. But I think with the fans out there that are concerned about the Thielen thing, I think let's forget about that. What I look at it is it's going to be a slow start with what we have at wide receiver. There's no Jalen Coker. We still have to see what Tet has. We have to see what XL is going to be and where those guys rotate out. It's going to take a couple weeks before we really see what this wide receiver room is going to look like. And I say to the fans that are stressing about, give it time. Like, the concern is no longer your quarterback. He has shown you that. If you have watched football, he has shown you that he's not the concern. Now, in the end, who does the blame go back on? It's going to be Bryce. It's going to be Bryce. I mean, it's just this is what our fans do. This is what they've done for the 2 years he's been here. They're going to blame Bryce. But what I'm saying is give it a week. Give it 2 weeks. Let's see how this shapes out and what this wide receiver room is going to look like going into, long stretches in the season. Because there is some question marks that we do have going in. And I mean, and that's the way I look at it. That's the way I'm looking at it going in. This is, hey, let's see what we have. Let's see how this works. Because I don't think Bryce is the problem right now.
No, our defense is still the problem until proven otherwise.
Well, that's a whole different story.
This team's only going to go as far as the defense is going to allow it to go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
Let's
talk about it. So we won't have to give our projections just yet because I know that's a part of the last segment we have here. But let's talk about where the team is currently at. I know we've already been rambling about a receiving core. Got a draft pick coming up, taking Rico Dowdle. Go fucking Panthers. All right.
Jonathan Brooks and Dowdle go off.
All right. So that was literally like a second half. I saw my name.
I got Jay.
Yeah, Mr. IR.
Mr. IR.
So the receiving core, we've kind of clarified that. Tight end room.
Yeah.
I think this is one of our best tight end rooms we've had in.
I think Sanders is in a great position to exceed expectations.
One of the best we've had, but Godly probably one of the biggest question marks on this roster.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree, but
in my opinion,
the
who is going to
profile is there. Sanders, the athletic profile is there for Sanders. If you look at what he did last year, he does. If you look at what he did last year, prior to him hurting his neck, thinking he could jump over people, right? I mean, he was doing very well. I think he has all of
have a career game that game. He was going crazy.
He was going off. Mm-hmm. But for me, I think he is more important than a wide receiver 2 in our offense right now. We need to be able to utilize the tight end over the middle of the field because that's going to keep the boundaries open for XL to be able to put in that work, right? We know what Coker's going to give us in the slot. We know what Renfro can give us in the slot. We know what XL is. He's a perimeter guy. That's where he's going to be more successful. Tet is obviously going to be the X. But if we have a tight end that can stretch the field, that can find the soft spots in zone coverage and just sit down and catch the ball and turn upfield and get 2 extra yards, that will be ideal. I think he is in a great position to be able to do that. And when I say exceeds expectations, from a fantasy standpoint, I'm talking about a potential top 15 tight end. You know anything about fantasy, tight end 7 to tight end 15, 18, it's a coin flip, right? That's less than a game differential in total points. Because for the most part, it's very inconsistent position from a fantasy standpoint. But from an impact on the football field and what he can bring to the impact of the offense and how teams have to plan against us, I think he is in a prime position to play a very key role in stretching the field, especially against zone coverage on a consistent basis.
No, I mean it definitely mediates the concerns with the wide receiver if you have one of the guys emerge. He is obviously to me the top runner to emerge as that guy because of the athletic profile. We've seen flashes of it last season. Me and Dean's talked about this multiple times. Like if we get one of these guys to show up, we have to see what was the rookie we brought in Notre Dame. Mitchell Evans. We'll see what he has going down the stretch. But right now, I think it is Sanders. It's his job right now until we get Trimble back and kind of see where he fits back into the role. But no, I agree. I mean, we get production. We get some production out of one of these guys. I think it's going to benefit because you don't need the McBrides. You don't need the Brock Powers. Those guys lead their receiving rooms. You know what I mean? The Travis Kelce's you saw for years in Kansas City. Give me guys like Kraft. Give me those guys that can make those plays in crucial moments. That's what we need. A guy just
underrated. He's a big moment.
He's not flashy, but he is there.
He does his job well.
Correct.
Bro, he's got some flash to him. I don't know if
I know, but
he got some flash.
but you get what I'm saying. He isn't
Mhm.
he isn't those top guys, and he don't. That's what I'm saying. Sanders
He's not a
doesn't
target hog.
Correct.
Correct.
He just needs to be there in those crucial moments when Bryce looks his way, and that's what we need. And we need a consistent guy to do that, and we haven't had that obviously since Greg Olsen. So.
Am I going to complain if he becomes a target hog? Absolutely not. If you have a guy that can become a target hog and be someone who's reliably available, I mean, that's not – you can never go wrong with
that. I agree. I would say that, though, if we didn't have a top 8 pick and a wide receiver. So,
well, Tech's leading this team in targets by miles.
Yeah.
Well, I could see a world – I mean, realistically, I could see a world where Sanders ends up being number 2 in yards on our team.
Mm-hmm.
And even with Mitchell Evans – I'm telling you, man, at FanFest, I saw some of the different things they were doing and stuff, and then they'd run too tight. They'd split both Evans and Sanders out at the same time. Like they could easily come in, be 2 tight ends on the line, but they also split out at the same time. Like if they could, the thing is getting these guys on the field at the same time together, where you create mismatches and this stuff over the field, like you're talking about, John. Like Sanders has the speed to get down. He also has got the length to get down and play, 50-50 balls with people and win those things and win those 50-50s. So Sanders, I think he's going to be the higher end tight end. I really think that he's going to pop off. I mean, I can't believe he dropped the one against the Texans in that preseason game. I can't believe he dropped it, to be honest with you. I mean, I just don't expect him to drop it.
Stingley was on. They gave Stingley all the credit, but really it was a perfectly placed ball in front.
Yeah, he just dropped it.
Went to a 3-and-out because you threw a perfect ball and he just lets it hit the turf.
I was shocked. I literally was shocked that he didn't catch that. That's a catchable ball for him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's never been a question. So I think he ends up showing up. I think he could probably be our second leading receiver. But I also see Mitchell end up getting in there too, and contributing. Getting some of those. I think he's the guy that can show up in big moments.
Right.
Can be that third, fourth guy, read wise that Bryce is getting to when he's needing to get the ball out. I think he could be big for us for that. I wouldn't be surprised if we run a lot of 2 tight, and even if we're splitting.
We have the right personnel for it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I'm excited about. I'm really excited about Mitchell. He's a good blocker. He could replace Trimble.
Yes.
I like Trimble.
Hopefully that happens.
I do like Trimble. I think Trimble has shown that he's been consistently available. Essentially, kind of what that Kraft. I mean, not Robert Kraft, but Tucker Kraft for Green Bay. Robert Kraft. His old ass. No, so there's like moments where we had Trimble and Bryce would be picking defenses apart with Trimble, but it just shows that like you just get somebody, even Trimble, who's not that much of a receiver. Even Trimble, if you just get somebody to throw the ball to, it's gonna reap its reward. And I do think Evans has more upside than Trimble. He's big. He's a good blocker. Quite literally, if you take the name off the jersey and you watch these two move, looks just like a young Gronkowski. Nobody's saying he's going to be a young Gronkowski. But they move the same.
They do move similar, yes.
They move the same. So I love having that as an option. So I think Sanders is the obvious number one. Sanders has shown through camp as one of those security blankets in the red zone for Bryce Young.
Yes.
All through camp. Almost every day, Sanders with a fade route in the red zone. Touchdown. Sanders on a post in the red zone. Touchdown at the back of the end zone. Like there was just a replay after replay after replay after replay after replay. Him and Sanders built the chemistry this year to the point where he's looking like one of the most reliable red zone targets for Bryce Young. So when you talk about dynasty and talking about redraft and fantasy, them last rounds Jatavion Sanders might be one of those guys where you're like, wait a minute. This could win you a league, because if he becomes a reliable, consistent red zone target, that's a touchdown every other week. If he can get us 8 touchdowns in this season, I mean, that's damn good play. That's damn good play.
100%.
But he showed it every day, joint practices, Sanders' Mawson defenses, our own defense in our Panthers practices. He's constantly scoring. So there's a lot of potential this year for Sanders in that red zone, especially, where he has a lot of potential to become one of those vital targets and for Bryce Young. And this is something we haven't had. We haven't had any like true closers for the red zone, guys that are sure-handed, these tight window moments where they have to be able to catch the football with a little bit of defense on top of them. Ted's going to do it.
Ted's definitely going to do it.
Sanders is going to do it. Now who's number 3? Who's the next guy we got? It ain't going to be XL.
It's going to be Renfro. It's going to be Renfro.
Dude, little ziggies.
Renfro in that slot's going to be something special.
Give him a little Renfro zig route.
Yeah.
Break them safeties down, get them linebackers out in coverage. XL for the first 6 weeks, or Coker for the first 6 weeks, not going to be available. But so we'll move on from the tight ends. Look at running backs. Running backs, Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, huge 1-2 punch. Both 1,000-yard rushers last season, right? And that's with Chuba missing a week or two.
Mm-hmm. I believe both of them missed games last year.
Yeah.
Not significantly, but both did miss some time. The one thing I will say before you talk about him too much, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, Rico Dowdle is going to bring more to the passing game and the screen game than I think a lot of people realize. So I think that's really where we're going to utilize his skill set. Not necessarily between the tackles, but I do think he's going to play a significant role when it comes to screens and receptions out of the running back position.
Right. No, I agree. I think he adds a lot more to that. We've kind of talked about it in the past episodes. Chuba, I mean, he's working constantly on his hands to become like a true 3-down back. Love the work ethic, first one in, last one out type of thing. He's constantly on the jugs. He's constantly doing what he's got to do. But Rico Dowdle, he instantly walks in, and he is a guy who can catch a football from a running back screen and take it 60 yards. Yeah. He's got the explosive play ability. I don't want to overstate, but this is one of the best running back rooms I've seen from Carolina since D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. As an overall talent, I would take D'Angelo Williams and Stewart. But
I still think this group has the potential to be a top 5 duo in the league this year. There is, you got your Gibbs and Montgomerys, your I guess kind of Bijan and Algier, but the really 1-2 punch. I think these guys can do it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know I said it, but Seth, you might have said it too. This was probably for me the W in free agency was bringing him in, because that takes some of that those carries away from Chuba. It saves him for the long run. And, I mean, what helps any quarterback more than a dominant run game? And you have 2 guys that could come in here and just get it done, punish you both ways. And both these guys were top 12 rushers last year, number 8, number 12 last year in the league. So you got 2,000-yard rushers on the same roster. And I think this is – obviously you saw last year Dave Canales loves to run the football. Everything comes off the run. And you saw it, the last year he was, in – Tampa Bay, where he used multiple running backs, and he tried to do it last year, but really didn't have anybody out behind Chuba Hubbard. Jonathan Brooks goes down, so I think this is going to open up Canales' offense even more, having 2 guys he can rely on in the backfield for sure. And I think that's
let's talk about this real quick, because I know that there's a perspective out there that Bryce can't be Bryce Young without a reliable running game. So let's talk about other teams. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff, you just mentioned it. Best duo in the league, right? Montgomery and Gibbs. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff just got voted as a top 15 player in the NFL. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who else got voted in the top 5? Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Who was his running back last year?
Well,
Derrick
Lamar
Henry?
was still doing it, but
I was about to say Lamar almost had 1,000 rushing yards.
but having
Having Derrick Henry was different.
it brought that to another level.
Every
100%,
year,
100%.
every year, Lamar, not just Lamar's rushing.
Yeah.
Every year, doesn't matter what running back is back there in Baltimore. When they're on the field, they almost have a 100-yard rusher every week.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Keaton Mitchell had his moments. Yeah, there's a ton of these guys. Let's talk about Chargers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Brock Purdy.
Yeah. No.
Let's talk about Jalen Hurts.
That's why I said every quarterback benefits for a dominant run.
Your best friend as a quarterback is a dominant run game.
Right.
100%.
So the perception that Bryce's success is strictly based on the success of the running game, it's just not a fair assessment. The reason that has been a need is because there's no consistent play at wide receiver.
But
hopefully this year there's a difference.
I also think the threat of a run game allows Bryce to play the way he likes to play.
Correct.
That's any system.
But
No,
correct. But
Bryce Young is at his best.
good. He is really good out of the
Catch.
pocket, and it allows him to. It just opens up so much more for Bryce when he has that run. Because if you make it one-dimensional, and I'm not just talking about Bryce, you make a team one-dimensional. Hey, Torres,
Right.
you saw it last night. You know, you know what I mean?
Any team.
Any team, you make them one-dimensional, it's not good.
There's
So,
a reason Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas
I was about to say,
Chiefs started
Patrick
to
Mahomes
run
and
the ball more.
Yeah, it
There's
just
a
allows
reason for
it. It doesn't. What you said. That's not the success. It allows Bryce to play freely.
It allows
which is
any
how he
quarterback,
likes
yes.
to play. But I'm
It
talking
allows
about him.
the offensive flow. to
Yeah,
play free.
but him in the way he plays, it does benefit him a lot to have that run game behind him. 100%.
It benefits everyone.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to say this is pigeonhole just Bryce Young. Every quarterback benefits from a strong running game. Every one of them. Does Bryce have the potential to carry? If he had some receivers that can catch a football, absolutely. Unfortunately, that ain't the case. So we have to use the other resources available to us. And that happens to be our strongest room, I think, on the team is running back.
100%.
And so it's good. Like, it will at least allow for our receivers to get their feet under them because they aren't the primary source of the offense moving the chains. Those guys are going to be situational pieces, essentially, because when you run first, you're going to be put in those situations where you have to show up. Bryce got to put the ball on the money, and he's got to make it happen, and you guys got to make it happen. But they aren't going to be the end-all, be-all.
Yeah.
Now, there's going to be moments where defense fucking chokes, and then Bryce got to go carry us down the field. Boom, boom, boom. We've seen it. Running game can't even be used because we got to go bink, 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 bink. Eagles, final drive. 3 drops by Excel, 1 drive. But it was all Bryce Young. Pass, 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 pass. He's shown it. He can do it. But you got to have the weapons to be able to do it consistently. And so that's where I think we're doing. We got the running game established. Now the rest of the offense got to flow. Offensive line, I think we're still in a good little rhythm. I think this preseason was a little suspect, but we never did have all 5 of the starters on the field at the same time. Let's flip over to the defensive side. Defensive line, Turk, Brown, and Brown.
The most improved overall unit on this team
from last year.
Last year, by far.
Yeah.
No, and me and Dean were actually talking about this. We were talking earlier about this. For me, I think the number one key to this defense is going to be Derrick Brown, how he comes off this injury, because he has the potential to have a season like he had 2 years ago. If he comes back healthy, I think he has to show himself that he is the player that we paid, that we decided to keep over Brian Burns. If you go back, we got rid of Burns and we signed Derrick Brown, or we signed Derrick Brown, then got rid of Burns. But anyways, he was paid to be the anchor of this defense. And I think you bring in Turk and you bring in Bobby Brown, and it just allows him to do what he does the best. And I think that front unit is going to be what helps that back the back, the linebackers and the
Right.
corners, because we're kind of shallow in both rooms there.
Correct.
And I think going into Sunday, the key for me is to how fast does this defense get off rip. Like, we have to get the pressure on, Trevor Lawrence off the rip, force him to, because we all know what he looks like when he throws up. He has to throw off that back foot. It's not pretty. Get the pressure, and it starts up front. It starts up front with Derek Brown and that defensive line. I think if you have success there, we saw it. We see it in most teams. A good front four, in our case, a front 3-7, whatever you want to call it. It allows that secondary to play freely. And with the guys we have, J.C. Horn, Mike Jack, bringing those guys back, just allow those guys to be back there and do what they do. Don't have to sit in coverage for so long. Like, we have to get pressure this year. That's the whole thing, because we could not do it last year. And, we're not talking about DJ Wanham and bringing in Patrick. What's the other guy? Pat Jones. Bringing those guys are going to do what they do. But to me, it's this defensive line and how improved they are this year and what that pass rush looks like, off the rip. Because that's, John, you said earlier, this team only goes as far as his defense goes. I'm not concerned about offense. I'm not. I think Dave Canales has showed that his system will work. It's going to be the other side of that ball, and we're not hanging up 30 on we're not letting teams hang up 30 on us on the scoreboard, because, again, we go back. People want to say, "Oh, Bryce this, Bryce that." No team can win when you have to outscore a team and when they're putting up 30, 40 points.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase couldn't do it.
No, you can't.
They finished 9-8.
It's unrealistic expectations.
It really is. So it's going to start up front of that defense, and really, for me, that's the key this week, and that's what I'll be paying attention to the most. Outside the wide receivers,
Triple Crown, and would have been runner-up MVP. Could not win football games. Couldn't even make the
It would have been the MVP if they made.
Yeah, I think he would have
not runner-up.
Win football
would have
games.
won the MVP.
Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Reliable receiver and reliable quarterback. There's always a pair.
Yeah.
There's always a pair. But
defense can stop shit.
Defense can stop shit.
Right.
You can't win football games that way.
Yeah.
So defense wins championships.
Well, if we improve if we improve at all, even on the run defense from last year, it just gives the team a better. We'll be able to respond better. We can't keep getting gashed by teams, by mid teams too. So
mid running backs at that.
Yeah. Exactly. So if we can improve on that at all this year, we'll be in a better position.
Right. I mean, when you can run the football, everything else in life is easy. You got the play action, you got the safety stepping up, you got the corners trying to get that little support because they're just getting gashed every time. So the running backs or the corners' eyes are in the backfield. Did he just hand it off? Oh, shit. I gave an extra yard of separation to that receiver. It's the subtleties. Like college football, do recover is what it is. The NFL, it's a game of inches. Football is a game of inches, but the NFL is so much more strict.
It's one in the trenches.
When you're a receiver, this much room is open.
Mm-hmm.
If that DB hesitates even the slightest, you just got beat. So when you have a successful running game where every time they turn that ball over to the deep running back 4 or 5 yards, your secondary is now playing from behind because at some point the safety's got to get in that gap because the linebackers clearly aren't. D-line clearly isn't allowing him to close it up. So it's the third level that has to step up. Guess what happens when the third level's having to step up? You get beat deep. Yeah. Welcome to the Carolina Panthers. That's what we've been. Welcome to the Carolina Panthers. We've been forced to throw our third level defense in the box because nobody up front could stop shit. Yeah. And then you get beat deep. So
and this is one thing, because I know, James, you said Brown's the most important piece to that. I just think it's the other one. I think Bobby Brown at nose tackle is going to be that dividend piece that is more vital than anyone else on that defense in the run game. We need him to eat that guard center every single run play, and we need him to take on those double teams so that those linebackers can get up and fill those holes and kill those gaps before we give up explosive run plays on a consistent basis. So for me, I think Bobby Brown's going to be that difference maker because, I mean, you're talking about a dude's 335, 340 pounds. You're not going to just move him out of the way. It's going to require some oomph and probably a double team. And that's what we really need to be successful in this defense is that dominant nose tackle presence that can demand a double team. And then that'll help Brown on the opposite side with Derek Brown be able to win those one-on-one battles and really show how dominant he can be when he has that one-on-one battle presence on a week-in, week-out basis.
Correct.
Turk Wharton. I'm ready to see what Turk's going to do. I know he got stood up by Lewis quite a bit in the one-on-one. Seth was talking about that one. Buddy got called out and got stood up again. Lewis, boy, that's a guard. I know we kind of just shifted over to the defense real quick. You know, we don't ever give Seth's position any credit. But Lewis, that boy's built different. Turk Wharton, I don't know if anybody knows what we're talking about. I could find the clip here, show it here in a little bit, but it was in one of our blueprints. Turk Wharton and Lewis was doing their one-on-ones. Lewis got that what Seth calls the anchor, picked his ass up by his chest plate, and just held him.
Yep.
And Turk said, okay, run it back. They lined up again. What happened? Dominated him even more than the first rep. The next thing you know, hands started getting thrown. Wow. They started fist fighting. They was ready. Yeah, he put Turk in his feelings for sure. My camera just got
and speaking of Turk, I think having, we talked about it when
the whole camera got
when he was signed, bringing in a guy that's coming from an organization like the Kansas City Chiefs, he brings in a different presence and a knowledge. Wow, you're blurry, Dean.
Yeah, he's very.
He brings in that presence and that winning culture, coming from a championship winning football team. So I like that, bringing in a guy like that. I think he's going to be a key role into this defensive line also. But, I mean, when it comes down to his health, health is another big thing for us. We've dealt with it for the past few seasons, not having depth there. Just health is very important for this team. Going in and just staying healthy is, for the most of the season. This defense is it's the one thing I think we're all watching this Sunday to really see.
Correct.
Yeah,
especially against Jacksonville in that run game, because Jacksonville, they got a committee, but they got a very good committee. So it'll be a that's what I'm paying attention to more than anything else. Our receiver game.
Yeah,
I'm any hooks anymore. My camera got scared.
We talked about him a little last week, but Cam Jackson too is going to add some depth at that nose guard at that interior defensive lineman position. Big boy is going to he's definitely going to require some double teams. He definitely can eat some too. So I'm looking forward to that. Him and Bobby Brown switching up. Is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's good rotation there.
Yes,
I agree.
Still go back to the rotation deal.
Yeah, it's good rotation on that defensive line, and that's what we've needed for sure.
Huge third and short, second and short, any short yard situation. You get that big boy up there in the nose tackle, then Trevon Wallace.
We even talked about Ashawn Robinson.
We haven't got there
yet. That's what I'm saying. That's what was just going through my head. I guess the starting lineup would be Derek Brown, Bobby Brown, and Ashawn Robinson.
But Turk is a backup.
Yeah. He's going to be a rotational piece again.
Yeah. Well, he was a starter in Kansas City next to Jones.
Yeah, I guess he was. Yeah.
He was a nose.
That's right.
But he played nose. So he led the team in sacks. Crazy to have this guy who led the Super Bowl champs in sacks be a rotational piece. I think people need to understand what the D-line just looks like now. We haven't got to the linebackers. We'll get to the linebackers. You got Wanham, Roseboom, Trevin Wallace, Pat Jones, backup Umami Ellen, backup Scorton. Come on now.
Rookies, yeah.
Come on now.
It looks a whole lot better than it did last year.
All eyes are on those guys too. When they get their opportunities, when you get your opportunities on Sunday, what do you do with them? Because I don't know how many snaps they'll get a piece, but I think it's going to be very important for them to make the most of the snaps. Because if I'm being honest, like Pat Jones and I think DJ Wanham's going to be he's going to hold his position, but I think that side with Pat Jones, I think that's kind of open, and I think Scorton or Umon Young can carve their way into a starting role on this defense.
Right.
But it's going to be every snap. You have to show what you have. I think because those guys are definitely going to be two guys you want to watch on Sunday because I think you're going to see their numbers a lot. But
I'm just looking forward to at some point this season I want to play with a lead. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that in a very long time. I would like to play with a lead and then see what this defense can do with the lead and really see what our offense can do with the lead.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to get in that gear for a long time. So
like burn a clock, just get up there and
and if we can get that lead 1 or 2, or 2, I'm thinking 2 scores ahead, and you're able to keep the rotation fresh with, your Mommy Ellen coming in for one of them, like even getting one of them probably is going to lead in snaps out of outside linebacker position, I think.
For sure.
But then you probably got to figure Pat Jones, Scorton, maybe pushing each other 50-50, and then your Mommy Ellen, if he's coming in and getting 25-30% of the snaps while, giving one of them a break, I think that would be great.
I agree.
I would really, but I think it's going to have to come down to we're going to have a lead at some point too. We can't be constantly getting ran on and passed on and everything else.
Give them guys
and
the
they
opportunity.
did a really good job addressing those issues with the people that we brought in.
Yeah, give them the opportunity to pin their ears back and just get to the quarterback.
Yep.
Let's talk about right here. So just because we're on this right here, look, we got a weak side linebacker, Pat Jones. Umami on the official depth chart to start the season is the backup weak side. And then you got Nick Scorton as the backup strong side linebacker.
Okay.
Roseboom is left inside. Trevon is right inside linebacker. So Scorton would be relieving DJ Wanham. Umami is going to be relieving Pat Jones. So really –
well, that depends because they typically when you got that backup, they're going to play on both sides.
They would, of course.
So
but on the official
–
right, on the official depth chart, Umami is the weak side linebacker and Scorton is the strong side linebacker. So the relief for Pat Jones would be Umami on the official depth chart.
I'm going to tell you another name that we won't mention on that we won't go down far enough to, but Incum, I've actually watching at Fan Fest and even through this preseason, he's popped a few times.
Thomas
Incum. So, I mean, this is a good depth piece too. I've been sort of impressed by him this preseason.
How about this one right here?
DJ Johnson.
It's going to be a pass rush by committee. That's what our team is going to be.
Yeah,
I don't see one dominant guy. It's going to be a pass rush by committee.
Yeah, you keep them rotating, man. You keep them rotating.
Exactly.
You keep them fresh. You put them in the positions. Hey, this guy's better on this down. Whatever down and distance. This is the guy we want in here for that.
Yeah,
keep that rotation going.
If there's anything that the Eagles have taught the fans of the NFL, rotation is important.
Well,
but you got to have the quality of depth to do that.
Right. Let's get to that secondary. You got your J.C. Horn and Mike Jack. Mike Jack's back. Okay. Corey Thornton made that back up to the right side cornerback. And it shows there our nickelback is Shaw Smith-Wade, who had a phenomenal camp.
Yes, sir.
So these two guys right here are who I am really wanting to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Thornton in case this guy, pulls another calf or hammy.
And I think it's been
shown up.
Yeah, correct. And it's continued to show up every Sunday.
Right.
You're undrafted. You have more to prove than any of these guys on this roster right now. Every Sunday you get out there and just continue to get better and better because, it's very shallow depth back there. But, to hit a gym like that is going to be awesome. And he could just continue to grow and get better and better every week.
That is a guy right there that flips your franchise. And the reason I say that, he's undrafted. The financial compensation is not there yet.
Mm-mm.
And he's going to bring extreme value when he's on that field. When you have the rotations in that secondary, you have a guy that you can depend on at a premium. You can't beat that. This is what you get when you have actual depth. Corey Thornton is an actual depth piece that when he gets his opportunity will show up, and it's going to have valuable minutes. And I love that. I love having a guy that you can rely on. The next guy here is Lathan Ransom at free safety. I told you guys, I don't understand it, but now they got him a backup. Nick Scott, do your thing. Whatever.
See, I would say Demani Richardson is more of a free than strong. Would you not agree?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I saw him more as a free.
But this could I've said before, this could also see something you see moved around during the season.
Right.
That's true too.
You know,
Demani Richardson
safeties aren't specific like they used to be.
No,
The majority of safeties can do both.
we got a lot of big body dude. We don't have a true free safety. You have Lathan as a box safety. You got Trevon Amorig as a box safety. Demani Richardson is like bad hips. The dude can't get his hips over. You're not in coverage. So he is a true box safety. Because
I get what you're saying, but I could see a situation where they're moving these guys around and kind of see where they fit in better. At least he should be. I mean, we are talking about EJ.
He's supposed to.
We're talking about EJ Avero, but don't just lock a guy to one side of the field. We saw it with Jeremy Chin. You said it last week, Dean.
Yeah.
You saw what happened with Jeremy Chin when you locked him on one side and you took away what he was good at, and he has to learn from that. Like, obviously, I'm not a fucking defensive coordinator. I don't do this at professional level, but damn it, like, move your guys around and just see where they find success at. I mean, that's the smart thing to do, especially when you don't have the depth to really, play around with that much. Like, you got to move these guys around. I mean, you're literally rostering 4 safeties.
Right.
Like, one of these guys go down, we're in trouble.
I love the thought of just flipping these two, having Ransom at strong and Trevon Moehrig as free. As much as Moehrig is a legitimate box safety, he's just simply better in coverage than Lathan Ransom. Like, Lathan Ransom is the definition of a box safety. We've talked about this. I've beat this dead horse quite a few times.
I don't really care for Nick Scott.
I'm not a fan, and I don't know if he's going to keep his job very long with this rookie right behind him. And this is more about, hey, let's groom the rookie.
I'd rather have him as a backup than as a starter. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Nick Scott.
Right. So overall, I mean, this defense, you got some guys, some sleepers here: Roseboom, Trevin Wallace. This is definitely a position I would love to improve on right here. This inside linebacker position.
Yeah.
However,
better hope Roseboom don't go down. He ain't got nobody.
You're not wrong, boy. If that boy goes down, we cooked. This is a very vulnerable position. We don't have a backup. We got Chairless. I'm not too fond of Chairless. Martin Scott had a pretty good offseason, really good preseason. But I mean, again, that's all you got. That draft is moving now, boy.
Yeah.
That's all we got, right? Is Martin Scott. So this is definitely a position concern, that inside linebacker. As long as these guys right here really show up, and you got your DJ Wano, as long as these guys all kind of show up, you can free these two up and let those guys play freely, get in those gaps, and really play the run support. Roseboom, he's got a nose for the football. He's kind of one of those sleeper defensive linebackers, inside linebackers. He's kind of a little sleeper there. He could have a very good year for us. But then this secondary, this is a very exciting secondary. It's just, this is some weird stuff going on here. We got three strong safeties right here. So this is a concern for me. So safety, inside linebacker. Again, I don't want to continue talking about that because I've been talking about Lathan Ransom every single week, it seems like. But now let's get to these special teams guys. We got this weird name here that I've just kind of wanted to just pause on. For some reason, David Moore is our punt returner. I guess they're just forcing value to make him have a roster spot.
No, he can fair catch every ball without dropping it. That's literally his job. He's going to go like this and catch it.
He can wave and catch.
Facts. That's all I need.
This is
Just don't drop it.
It's a very good
Canales
job, if we're being honest.
You drop the ball and you're cut.
This is Dave Canales just trying to, solidify his stance. And hey, we got to roster this guy.
Special teams guy.
Talking all this shit, and David Moore leaves the receiving room this year.
Yeah, right.
That ain't happening.
Almighty.
Jimmy
I
Horn
hate to
is
see
the
how
guy.
this year's going.
I know, right? If he's leading us, we're screwed. Jimmy Horn should be the punt returner. I don't understand why he's not. I would say Trevor Etienne should be our kick returner. Don't understand why he's not.
I don't agree with that. The one thing, and I don't know if you remember, they just changed the rule for kickoffs, where if you kick it in the end zone, the ball gets it at the, I want to say it's 35 now. So they're essentially forcing teams not to kick the ball out of the back of the end zone for a touchback every single kickoff, because that's what ended up happening in the majority of teams last year. So if you look at how it's structured and how the new kickoff rules are set up, it's a run play. So for me, seeing a running back in that position, especially somebody with Nico Dowd's vision, I think that's a primary position where he can make a significant impact consistently on special teams when it comes to those kick returns, because he knows how to follow those blocks.
Well,
we saw in the preseason where Trevor Etienne can also read those blocks.
that's what I'd rather see. That I don't want
me
our
too.
backup running back in that position. But
I'd rather see our rookie, who's the number 3.
Watch, he's going to have a kickoff return for a touchdown to open the season. And we're all going
That
to change
is
our
a
mind.
bold statement.
Yeah.
Bold.
is there a bet on that?
No.
We can put a bet on.
Absolutely
You want to
not.
throw some dollars on it? We can throw some
Rico
dollars.
Dowdle
on it.
takes one to the crib kickoff.
First opening kickoff. Opening
Okay,
kickoff.
gone.
Thanks.
Bro,
Well,
if that happens, we're all just going to not say nothing in the chat.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
I was just going to do nothing. Complete
don't
silence.
say shit.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a concern. There was a lot
I
of
agree.
camp practices that he was missing quite a bit. They have faith that he's going to turn it around. We'll see how that goes. There's nothing promised on that.
Did you hear what Dave Canales said about him?
What's
That's
that?
what scared me. He said that, we're going to go with the young guy. There might be some growing pains. When he said that we might have some growing pains,
Yeah.
I almost lost my shit. I was like, what the hell? No, you're accepting the fact that we're going to suck a kicker because he's young. That makes
Actually,
zero
wild
sense to me.
thing to say.
Yeah.
That's what he
Wild
said.
thing to say.
He literally said, I was like, there's no way. We're going to experience growing pains with a kicker. You know how many damn kickers you can sign? But
Right.
you want to
Oh,
get the growing
dang,
pains
tell
with a
him.
kicker.
Yeah.
Motherfucker cost
let
me
me,
a game. See how much I cuss him out.
let me pull it up right now.
That one, he said that. I was
That's the
mind-blown.
worst. Not having a kicker you can rely on, bro.
Mhm.
Dude,
Mm.
game winning situation. He shanks that thing to the right.
Yeah,
Oh.
I forgot what the actual what the verbiage was, but I basically took it as they were willing to develop this guy.
Yeah,
But that's what that was the quote. You're right.
he said growing pains. I was like,
Yeah.
my Lord, help me. I've never heard an NFL coach say that they're willing to go through growing pains with a kicker.
I translated it as they were willing to develop, but yeah, that's pretty sad. That's when you say it that way, the way that was actually said, that's even worse.
Yes, it's awful.
All right, guys. So this is the kicker that I wish we would sign. Ben Sauls made 5 of 6 field goal attempts and was perfect with all 6 extra points, with his only miss being a 43-yard attempt wide right. He was waived by the team. And so, again, it doesn't say anything about this, but this particular kick that he missed was due to the fact that the hold got botched. So he missed a 43-yarder, but the hold was botched. It was a bad snap, and caused him to come off of his made
Messes
a
up
weird
the timing.
step. Right. So he made a couple 50-yarders or a lot of 50-yarders this offseason. It doesn't really give you all the information here. I'm not going to sit there and start looking up real hard on it.
So is he
but-
your fantasy sleeper?
He's not even rostered.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
I
not.
wish, but he's not even rostered.
Must start.
Must start
Ben
a guy
Sauls.
who's on a free agent. So just throwing that out there. Yeah. I would love to see us sign this dude. He showed that he was very consistent for the Steelers. They just have a veteran who's done it. This guy was also an undrafted rookie, and he had more success than Fitzgerald in the preseason. I mean, I heard every single practice Fitzgerald was missing multiple kicks like every day. Like at this point, like this guy shouldn't be on your roster. This is almost getting stubborn at this point.
They both were missing it. Him and the other guy we had in camp. They were both missing it. They would go like pushing each other for who would miss the most.
It was a mid-off. It was the best mid-off I've ever seen. And we
went down to the wire.
Got our guy. There's a guy who's completely available right now who hasn't missed a single field goal that was his fault. Well, we got our guy.
Yeah.
This guy's available, same cost. He'll be just as expensive. Well, we got our guy. Whatever. Yeah. So special teams is not fun right now. We'll
look on top of that too. I want to talk about the punter. I also heard this too, that he can kick far, but he has very short hang time. So
yeah, that could be a problem.
So that's why our punt coverage has been so bad.
Sam
Martin. That's why our punt coverage has been so bad, is because he can't get it up, he
can't kick it and keep it up there.
Yeah.
He's got ED, boy.
He ain't got no hang.
He ain't got no
give him a blue chew. He'll get that thing right up. Oh, pause. That wasn't even a pause. It was quite literally talking about it.
Hit us up, Blue Chew.
I know, right? Please. Good promotion. All right.
Need sponsors.
I know, right? Come on, Blue Chew. We'll get an ad.
No, but all in all, man, I'm excited, dude. I'm hyped. I'm happy with the roster. I'm just ready to see some Panther football.
I'm so excited about it. We have to transition away from this because we only have 30 minutes left, and we got to talk about all of our week 1 projections here. So let's move on real quick. Week 1, James. Who is your game of the week?
My game of the week is it seems like I always pick these guys' game of the week. Am I wrong?
My winner here, yeah.
Right? I always pick this team. It's the Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. I can't think of a better way to kick it off in the AFC. Probably the 2 front runners this year, the AFC, in my opinion. Sure. I don't think there could be some teams that creep up on them, but these 2 roster in and out: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson,
MVP, runner-up MVP. There's nothing else that needs to be said.
Should have been MVP. Whatever.
Yeah. Voter fatigue. Yeah,
for real. They wanted. No, I ain't gonna say it. Lamar should have won. But anyways,
I'm still on the Allen boat. For those of y'all who don't know, Allen.
It's okay. You can stay on that.
More
island.
with less.
Lamar was quite literally the MVP. It was unquestionable. The only other person that I could
except for Lamar didn't win the MVP. Josh Allen did.
The only one that's debatable other than Lamar is Saquon Barkley. But here we are. Josh Allen's the MVP. Whatever.
Chase.
Yeah, Triple Crown.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Triple Crown kind of falls into the category of MVP. But anyway, who's your pick?
Yes, like I said. Probably the 2 best teams in the AFC face off week 1. I had a hard time deciding on who I was going to pick. I had
such a hard time. I just decided.
But I'm going to go the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to come in, kick it off hot. This is, probably my Super Bowl pick this year. Once again, I picked them last year. But again, year 2, Lamar, Henry. Defensively, this is probably the top defense in the league. They've added, so much depth on that. That secondary is going to be unbelievably good. I think the issue with Buffalo is the receiving room. We really don't know who's still yet to see who's going to emerge as the top guy in this offense. Yes, you have Josh Allen, but when you're facing a defense like this and, they're coming off a tough loss in the playoffs. I just think the Ravens are going to go off with a hot start. You're going to have to deal with Lamar and Henry. And offensively, I don't know what Buffalo can do to really stop them and compete with them. So I'm going to go with Baltimore week 1.
Seth?
Yeah, it's hands down Baltimore to me. I think it'll be a good game. I hope it's a good game. It should be a good game. They're my picks for their division. Divisional winners. I think Baltimore is my Super Bowl favorite, definitely from the AFC. So I hope it's a good game. I just don't see no way that Buffalo beats Baltimore. To
Seth,
start the season. Huh?
Sorry, John Buffalo.
Me? Yeah, I'm taking Bills. Tell you that right now. No one circles the wagon. Buffalo Bills.
Sorry,
Playing
Seth.
at
Continue
home
talking. Sorry.
with the MVP.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done. I feel very disrespectful right now. My
Okay.
apologies.
I feel like Reese Davis just got cut off by Pat McAfee. I'm like, what? What's happening?
He said, "Oh, Ravens win Ravens Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, you're cut off.
Yeah, you're done.
I don't want to hear more."
All right, we already know you got the winning. Cool, John. You got Buffalo. We already knew John was good at Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right. What's your explanation, John? How in the hell can you say that Buffalo wins this game? Because now I already gave you my pick, Baltimore.
That's fine. So for me, the one thing with the Bills that is different this year, they're finally healthy on defense, specifically at the linebacker position.
The D lineman just got put on IR, season-ending IR, by the way.
Which one?
I can't think of the name, but he was their starting.
Doesn't sound like it was that
tackle.
important because I haven't seen anything about it. So
the starting nose tackle, I believe. Their whole defense is a bunch of guys you don't know.
Yes, because they
more Hamlin
injured.
Yeah,
we all know.
All right, let me look up the name.
Like I said,
I can't remember his fucking name. That was rough.
Bills are playing at home. It's Josh Allen. Josh Allen. Everybody said the same thing about Josh Allen last year. Oh, we don't know what the Bills are going to be able to do. He doesn't have Stephon Diggs anymore. There's all these question marks. Then he comes out and he wins MVP, right? He led the league in touchdowns overall, right? He is the epitome of what you would want in a quarterback that can carry your team to a win. And then when you look at what they did defensively to improve, this team is built to stop the run. And I think they're going to be able to do enough defensively to slow down the run game between Lamar and Derrick Henry in week 1 to capitalize on Josh Allen and his abilities as a quarterback and as a one-of-one domino, similar to what Cam Newton used to be, but much better passer. And they're going to win this week.
You do know Bills, Henry owns Buffalo when he plays against them, right?
And he ain't going on week 1.
Somebody's getting put on a poster.
I need to save face and just admit that I'm wrong. Dwayne Carter was put on IR. He was the third string.
That explains a lot because I didn't know who the heck you were talking about because I didn't see anything about it.
Gone. Back up to Ed Oliver.
Ed Oliver,
a guy he's never dethroning, by the way.
Yeah, Ed Oliver is that dude.
But they did have a guy go to IR. I told you. I know more about Buffalo than you. Baltimore is winning this game. Moving on. More Hamlin, baby. John, go to your game.
I'm being honest, I don't know anybody outside of Ed Oliver and DeMar Hamlin.
Oh, well,
I would have been impressed to come up with Hamlin.
Yeah, I was about to say they signed Bosa.
They signed Joey Bosa.
That's right.
Malone. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, you see exactly what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. I don't remember the guy's name. It's a weird spelling. He got hurt twice last year, and I think he only played 2 games. But he's one of the best inside linebackers in the NFL.
All right, yeah.
I just don't remember his name.
Meet Derrick Henry. Anyways,
we're gonna meet Derrick Henry in the hole. Like I said, I do think the Bills are gonna win this week.
Game of the week. Who you got?
Wait, who's your big team? Ravens?
I already said, Baltimore. Baltimore. I'm about to show you why I'm MVP. Bing.
I'm on the island over here with the Bills.
Let me talk a little bit about the Bills real quick. Sorry, I won't just be a dickhead. The Bills, I do think improved a little bit offensively. They actually have I love Palmer. Joshua Palmer. The addition of Joshua Palmer. Shakir obviously had a really good season last year. I think Kincaid can have a bounce back season. There was a lot of expectations rookie year. He didn't really show up, unfortunately, last year. James Cook contract issue, that was kind of worked out. It took a little while, but eventually that kind of got itself worked out. But they don't really truly do have a running back one type of system. Josh Allen kind of just literally carries. And so Keon Coleman, not a big fan of Keon Coleman. But again, I think Joshua Palmer the addition of Joshua Palmer is huge offensively because he's a very underrated receiver. I love Joshua Palmer. He's very mid, but he is effective. I would have taken a Joshua Palmer with Bryce Young. I would have taken but you could start this guy. Like I would have put Joshua Palmer the past 2 years in Carolina Panthers any day of the week. He'd have been a wide receiver 1 twice.
He's a solid number 2 option.
All right, and he would have been our number 1. So I'm just saying that's just where we've been. So here we are. Joshua Palmer is a great option. He's going to be potentially their wide receiver 1. They have Shakir, but again they have Keon Coleman. John, I know you're just over Keon. I'm not too fond of the guy. I don't think he can get open personally. He's got some hands, but dude can't get open. You got to be able to separate. But those are the reasons I'm not huge on Buffalo. It's like it's still way too dependent on Josh Allen. And Baltimore just improved significantly in that draft. Their first 2 picks were 2 of the top defensive talents coming out of this class, and that's Malachi Starks and Green. When you put those 2 out there, I almost think the NFL's rigged.
They also added Jair Alexander through free agency.
Traded for Jair Alexander. Like, come on. They're literally saying Baltimore's going to the Super Bowl. They're already giving you the answers to the test. Like, they're already telling you what they're going to do in week 1.
I had them with the best record in the AFC. I'm just not picking
conspiracy theorists in any way. You already know what's going to happen week 1. They already told you when they look at free agency, they look at the draft, they're giving these guys premier talent. They're giving them premier. Yeah, we'll let Will Green fall to you. He's got some scandal issues. We'll let Malachi Starks, the best safety in the draft, we'll let him fall to you at the end of the draft. Here you go, just like we did Lamar at 32. But they're literally just giving them players. So anyway, Baltimore, to me, just a better team. Offensively, James just said it, Derrick Henry is damn near impossible to cover. I do like the growth of Bateman. Mark Andrews, I don't think he's going to start as slow as he did last year. Flowers is a dog. Lamar, obviously, it's freaking Lamar, and they have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Buffalo just pound for pound across their roster does not stand a chance. Anything outside of Ed Oliver and Joey Bosa, who's like 35 years old at this point, they just don't stand a chance. Like, Josh Allen's going to quite literally have to be Superman, Prime Cam, in order to beat Lamar Jackson. So that's it. That's what
that's what I'm calling for week 1. Again, I didn't say the season long projection. I'm saying week 1.
I'm calling for a Keon Coleman 7-drop game. Go ahead, John. Who's the next? Who's your game of the week?
All right, so my game of the week.
All jokes.
My game of the week is going to be the Minnesota
Vikings. Even
Vikings.
get the ball thrown to him because he's not going to get open. Sorry, go ahead.
It'll be the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. We have a premier matchup of young quarterbacks with very high upsides. J.J. McCarthy's making his first career NFL start. You got Caleb Williams now with Ben Johnson as his head coach. So you got 2 of the best offensive play callers in the NFL. You got 2 of the high-end quarterback talents from last year's draft class. I think this is going to be a very compelling game. I think this could go either way, which is why I picked this game. I think this is a very coin flip game. And realistically for me, I think this is going to come down to the run game and which team's going to be able to excel in a run game week 1. And I'm going to pick the Bears at home as underdogs to take on and win versus the Vikings.
Okay, Seth?
I'm going to go Vikings. Was back and forth on this one. Just don't know what to expect from the Bears right now with Caleb Williams and how his preseason has went. Some good things, some bad things, a lot of bad things, more bad things than good things that I've seen on him. So
a lot of things.
a lot of things. So
a lot of things out there, by the way.
I cannot trust Caleb Williams right now,
2,
no
3,
matter
4,
what's
5,
on his
6
offense.
6
So I like some of the pieces there in Chicago. Luther Burden, I'm excited for. I'm hoping he's going to show out. I just don't know how Caleb Williams is going to come into this game. I think this is going to be, I guess, J.J. McCarthy's coming out. I just think Vikings have too much whole team that Chicago can't they ain't gonna be able to handle or hang with.
Yeah. You got it. You got it, Bucko.
I'm gonna go with John on this. I'm gonna go Chicago Bears. I think they did a good job at bolstering the offensive line this year, getting some protection. Yes, there's worries with Caleb Williams, but there's more worries for me with J.J. McCarthy. We don't really know the status of Justin Jefferson. It appears that he's going to play, but he's still dealing with a quad injury. There's no Addison there. You bring in Thielen that's only had a week to prepare. I think this is a Ben Johnson era. I think he's going to start off hot at home on a Monday night. Again, they got a better offensive line. I think you're going to see a lot of DeAndre Swift. And like Seth said, you added Luther Burton. You added Colston Loveland to that offense. And we know Ben Johnson loves his tight ends. And nobody's talking about Cole Kmet, but he's still there. You got DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. I mean, I think from a talent standpoint, they have it. And I think that Ben Johnson's going to get up to a hot start. And I think they're going to beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. I personally have the Vikings. The reason being the Vikings have Brian Flores. And
it's a good reason.
They lead the league in blitzing. We saw a quarterback who quite literally panicked as soon as there was a single fly next to his face mask. Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson's going to have an offensive masterpiece to win this game. Ben Johnson is going to have a superior game plan and outwit Brian Flores. Brian Flores is about to be sent in the house. That's just what he does. He's got all gas, no brakes with it. That's Brian Flores. He's all gas, no brakes with it. He's going to send 6. He's going to send 7, and then he's going to act like he's sending 6 and send 4, and then there's an interception. Caleb Williams has the weaponry.
Yeah, I will say something on that. Ben Johnson did come from the NFC North, where he played this team.
And the Vikings made it very difficult for the Detroit Lions to have significantly better talent. The Detroit Lions have more talent in my opinion.
I'm just saying he understands what he's facing.
He understands it, and he understands he can't beat it. Yeah. So you got
they beat the shit out of the Vikings in Week 17 last year to win that division.
That was because of Sam Darnold. To be fair, the Detroit Lions defense destroyed the Vikings offense.
Oh no, you're talking about a defense that had like 17 players on IR. Just throw that.
They still beat the shit out of Jared Goff. When I talk to you about liabilities, we can keep yapping. But what I've been saying is the Minnesota Vikings defense. Yeah, sorry. The Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings defense is very tough, and Caleb Williams has shown that he's not good against the blitz. He panics. The offensive line is still not. They did do a great job at adding a couple pieces, but I just don't think the offensive line is quite ready yet. So I'm not gonna commit to the Bears just now. Not in week 1. It's going to take some time. Ben Johnson's going to have to figure these guys out a little bit more. It's a little early, like I said. He's going to have to walk in here with a flawless game plan to even stand a chance in this game. I think J.J. McCarthy, J.J., I know Addison's out. Thielen's going to be the security bank, but nobody's talking about T.J. Hawkinson. Nobody's talking about Aaron Jones. Nobody's talking about Brian Flores. The Vikings are still no joke. It doesn't need it's just a simple little 3-game suspension from Addison. So, to me, I'm not too worried about it. I think Vikings are the team. So, Seth, it'll bring us to your game of the week.
Detroit at Green Bay. I'm going to go with the Lions here. I just think they're the better team. I think they're going to they're the better team.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it. Very intuitive. I love that.
Yeah, running game is going to be there. They're going to start with that, hot and heavy.
All right, John.
Gibbs and Montgomery.
Okay.
No, I agree with them. I do think the Lions are the better team. I'm picking the Lions to win this game. Yes, Green Bay did just make the big splashy move. They just got Micah Parsons. And when I say just got, I mean he just got there. He practiced for the first time on Monday. So, yes, is he going to be playing more likely?
I just have to run straight? Okay.
But
Got
we'll
it.
see. We'll see how long it takes him to really.
It's not like he's
gel.
got to like understand the defense pass rush. Got it. Run defense.
It's not that simple because even as a pass rusher, you still have responsibilities in your gap and make sure that you keep your containment on that quarterback, especially with someone like Love who can run around.
Outside contain. Got it.
Yes, but
Keep outside contain.
again, he's also got a severe back injury where he's already talked about having a potential have weekly epidurals to even be able to play. So we'll see how that goes as far as year one for him in Green Bay. Lot to happen between now and the end of the season when it comes to Parsons and his impact with the Packers. But week one, I do think the Lions are going to win this game. Offensively, they have all of the firepower you could want. They got two very good running backs, one very elite one as far as pass catcher, and then one is really, really above average in between the tackles. They obviously have Laporta at tight end. We've all seen what Laporta is capable of doing on a consistency basis. I think we all like Laporta when it comes to fantasy as well. And then when you look at the receiving core, they got Amon-Ra St. Brown, arguably a top 5 wide receiver. They got J-Mo. He can blow the top off of any defense at any given time. So for me, I think the Lions are going to win this game. I think we're going to see a lot of passing. I think Jared Goff is going to have an excellent game and prove that he is far from what you would call a liability and solidify why he was voted as a top 15 player in the NFL last season. So my pick is definitely going to be the Lions. James?
Yeah, Lions. I agree with both of you. Seth, more talent. I agree with everything you said. My thing with Green Bay is the only sure thing you have on offensive side is Josh Jacobs. There's injuries across the wide receiver room. You got a young wide receiver in Matthew Golden. So that's yet to be determined on what this team's going to be. I do think this team, towards the end of the year, if they can get healthy, they're probably going to be that team that pushes Detroit. You know, I still think Green Bay is a good football team. They're going to be a good football team this year. But I think starting off, let's see how it works out. You're going against the team that has dominated this division for the last couple seasons. And, again, same thing I said, more firepower. It's Detroit.
You got Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Well, I'm the only one picking Green Bay here. John, you said Detroit, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I got Green Bay. Tough pick. This was one of the harder picks here of the week, in my opinion. Had this been pre-Micah Parsons, I probably go Detroit. I go Green Bay because I understand how much of a tap dancer Jared Goff can get. He turns into a ballerina. He's best on his toes and then fall into the fetal position. Micah Parsons hitting that edge is going to be a problem. I know they don't have Jair Alexander anymore. The offense is solid. Hutchinson's coming off of a femur, I believe, a broken femur. So it's still to determine how explosive he's about to be off the edge. So that's really like the backbone of their defense, in my opinion. And then you add to the fact that Ben Johnson's in Chicago. The offensive structure that was in place, I understand they still have the roster. He's not, the head coach isn't calling the plays. Ben Johnson's the one who drew up the unorthodox play calls. He's the one who made the crazy concepts that made it very difficult to read. He's no longer there. Like, we're depending on a guy in week one. We have no idea what he's about. This is Philadelphia Eagles 2 years ago, Super Bowl, lose Shane Steichen, become a mid-team in the NFL because they did not know how to use A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. They didn't know how to use DeAndre Swift. And then they had to move on from Swift. They got a new offensive coordinator. Then they got Saquon, and then Saquon just saved them. They won a freaking Super Bowl. But this is essentially kind of the same thing. You lose a mastermind offensive coordinator that has been there for 4 years. So the loss of Ben Johnson, that's a huge hole and a huge one to fill. Green Bay has the same offensive coordinator because it's the head coach, and they just added more weapons. To me, I think it's going to be a close one, but I do think it's going to come down to the fact that Detroit is going to have to depend on their offense, and it's not going to be as explosive, as dependable as it has been in the past, and Green Bay is going to take that edge. That brings me to my game of the week, 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Probably the worst one out of all of them. I don't know. You guys all had really good games. Mine sucks. 49ers and Seahawks.
I mean, you could have went Chargers, Kansas City. I mean, I'm just saying.
I was going to, but then that was too easy. As in, like, a good choice. This one's probably this one's not as good of a choice. This one sucks. So
It's like a good choice.
So this one's not as good of a choice at all.
Great. That's great. This is terrible.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't make sense.
All right. Fair enough. Well, obvious answer. Who do you guys got?
I mean, you got to tell us who you picked. It's your game.
Fair enough. All right. Just because I'm picking Seattle. Just because I know where you are going, and I'm just going to have to go against the grain because this is why I picked this game.
You're picking the island. Got it.
I got to be the island right now just because I picked the stupidest game of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, got no reason.
Great defense. Jason,
man.
Walker, Charbonnet. Just start naming players because you don't.
I got a buddy that I work with him, and he's a Seahawks fan. He swears that the Seahawks are winning this division, and he's actually saying
the whole division.
He's saying they're opening up with this win against San Francisco, but he's wrong. I'm going San Francisco.
I will say the only thing that I'm holding on to is Seattle. They really do actually have a very good defense.
They do.
They have a very good defense, and they added more in the preseason and the offseason draft, free agency. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of holding to. Sam Darnold, that's a question mark, of course. JSN is about to be prime for wide receiver 1, but outside of JSN, it's kind of get a little dicey in that receiver room. Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, offense is kind of sus. I'm going to admit it. The defense, I think, could potentially be a top 5 defense. 49ers, they're literally with Ricky Pearsall. Like, walking into this is George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, and
Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings.
He's day-to-day, right?
No, he was a full participant in practice.
Yeah. As of today, he's full participant.
Yeah, he's
so I was going to say I got the 49ers to win this game. I don't know. Did y'all pick the 49ers? Like, I don't know.
Yes, we picked the 49ers.
I mean, obviously, right? Like, wow, what a bad.
Are you switching your pick?
Yeah, the 49ers win this game. Is that who you got?
Yes,
49ers.
Wow, that
was just talked himself out of it.
Shocker, sweep. All right, so the Thursday night game, Eagles and Dallas versus the Philadelphia Eagles. John or James, who you got?
Eagles.
All right.
This was closer when they had Micah, but it's the Eagles, man. Come on.
Yeah, this is Eagles. Is this a sweep?
Eagles.
Sweep. All right. Dallas it is. No. All right, moving on. I got Eagles too. Carolina versus Jacksonville. James, who you got?
I'm going to stay true to what I picked when I did the records. I'm going to go Panthers. We've talked about them extensively. I think Dave Canales is trying to open up and make a statement, and I think this is the team you can do it against. Panthers.
John is Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm going to stay true to my preseason predictions. I think Jacksonville's going to win this game.
Lawrence. Got it.
Especially with Icky not playing. If Icky doesn't play, I don't think we can win.
That's not a concern right now. He's day-to-day. I think he'll play. Seth.
He still hasn't practiced. So.
I don't think it matters if Icky plays or not.
I don't think he's playing.
I do. I think it matters.
You think if Icky plays, we beat Jacksonville?
We would have a lot better chance to beat Jacksonville.
Okay,
but we don't beat Jacksonville.
Jacksonville has 2 elite pass rushers.
Just real quick, I can make a simple asterisk on your pick. If Icky plays, does Jacksonville beat Carolina?
Okay.
Because when I made that prediction, Icky was healthy.
Okay, so then that's why I was calling you out on the fact that it didn't matter if Icky played. Seth, go ahead.
No, I mean, it makes a big difference.
It didn't change your point. It's not going to change your pick.
But it might change Seth's or yours.
Not mine. Go ahead, Seth.
I'm staying with the home team.
Home team, Jacksonville?
Yeah. What? I mean, my home team.
They're the home team.
My home team.
The home team, okay. I mean, shit. Be clear. Because
Wait,
literally
what?
the home team is the Carolina Panthers.
My
Oh,
home
man. That's true.
That was a good one.
I'm going with the Carolina Panthers here. So, yeah, not gonna really. Travis Hunter has missed literally the entire offseason with, I believe, a hamstring issue.
He missed like a week and a half.
He's
Either
missed,
it don't matter if he's played.
played.
y'all.
I don't think he's going to be
games
that
at all.
significant of an
Yeah,
impact.
he
in
isn't
this
going to be
game.
that big of it. It's going to be.
He's their
Brian
number
Thomas.
2 pick.
That's perfectly fine. He's also a rookie. I don't think he's going to have that big of an impact. in
Okay,
this
so
game.
the number 2 pick doesn't
Dean,
matter.
have you seen
Got
him
it.
run routes?
Facts.
You've
seen his
I'm
route.
simply saying their number 2 pick
Yes.
has missed significant
But-
time in the preseason.
The issues
Hey,
that
as a
we're going to
rookie.
have to
Not
to
my must
answer
play,
for-
but fantasy players, keep an eye on Brenton Strange Sunday.
yes,
That's all I'm going to say.
that's
Keep
a
an eye
good
on
call.
Brenton Strange.
But for me, realistically, if you look at it, we gotta have a solution for Brian Thomas Jr. Right? They move him all over the field. He does not play one specific position, receiver. He moves everywhere. J.C. Horn has never been that chess piece that moves around. So that gives them an advantage unless we're willing to allow J.C. to do something that he has never done in a Jero Avero's defense.
Yeah,
All right.
follow
Then you
the-
factor in,
Yeah.
are we really improved versus the run? Because again, like I said earlier in the podcast, the Jacksonville Jaguars have a very good running back room. They have a committee and they have a lot of good skill positions, and all 3 of their backs, their number 1, 2, and 3 backs, can bring something different to the game. This is going to be a challenge game for us, especially if Icky doesn't play on the offensive line, because then we're going to be down that left tackle, and we all know how important the left tackle is, especially when you're facing 2 premier
There
pass
was only
rushers.
2. There was only 2
Jaguars.
out of 10 experts that picked the Panthers too. So hey, the whole world's against Carolina right now. So
Yeah.
let's get
I
it.
mean, I ain't picking from an expert standpoint. I just think it's going to be a challenge in week 1.
Is there a possibility we start slow? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But
Is there a possibility we lose this game? Absolutely. There's a possibility
But-
that every team that we pick loses their game.
Is
But
there a possibility that they bench Bryce Young for a second time after week 2? Hell no.
No.
I can say
I was
it.
about to
wow. Holy,
Better not.
I'm glad that happened.
Well, Andy
I
Dalton.
really thought you were going somewhere else with that one.
Ted's going for 122. That's what I'm going to say.
All right. So, real quick, we gotta rapid fire this shit. Seth, start 'em, sit 'ems, go.
I'm going to start Ollie Gordon.
Ooh.
Start
Yeah.
Ollie Gordon.
Start Ollie Gordon.
Is Achan's playing?
Achan has been dealing with some injuries, especially
Achane
coming
is
out of
playing.
camp and everything. He is playing, but they have talked about a little bit of a
Limited
role
role.
share. Yep. So Ollie Gordon is somebody that's definitely climbed the depth chart in Miami. I could definitely see him end up making some significant starts. Achan missed some games last year as well. So I could definitely see him making some significant starts this year. So that would be somebody that I would definitely be looking to add
Okay.
to the roster.
Okay.
Who's your
Sit.
set?
I don't have a set right now.
Oh boy, you
Come
gotta
back
get
to
there. Okay.
I would set Justin Jefferson. How about that?
Oof.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a big one. James, start sits.
Start Jalen Warren for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just got a contract. Starting running back. And bench Calvin Ridley. Patrick Surtain, rookie quarterback. Shutting that shit down.
Okay. John,
Right.
start sit.
I picked Zay Flowers. I think he's going to have a really, really electric week 1.
Dude, I'm
it's
so
gonna be a
glad we
very
haven't had
high-scoring
to say
game.
one at some point. Yes.
And then
Zay Flowers.
my sit of the week is R.J. Harden. I do not trust him as a rookie running back for the Denver Broncos.
Man, dude, we're good. We're good. Guys, we didn't plan this. My stardom, Xavier Worthy. There's no Rashee Rice. I think the matchup is golden for a guy to kick off. Like, he was a Super Bowl MVP, in my opinion, for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was the primary weapon, and he's primed for a great start because they don't have a true number 1. And my big sit-em is Tyron Tracy. He's right now on roster, the running back 1 for the Giants. And we don't know exactly what these cats are going to look like offensively, who they're going to start. So that's my sit-em. So let's get it.
Bench Jackson Dart also.
Yeah. If you had not yet started following, go to Stop Capping Podcast on Facebook, Stop Capping Pod on X, Stop Capping Podcast on Instagram, and Stop Capping Podcast here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, and let us know how we do. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Go Panthers.